Hello, hello. It's Tuesday, which you know what that means. That means we're here to read, listen, listen. Anyway, more Heart of the Woods because I am trying my best to keep to a schedule, and I also want to finish out all the multitude of games I started. So we're going to go ahead and jump right back in here. And those are cute. And just jump right back into it because I do appreciate the story this game is telling. With almost every step I take, I cast a glance behind me. I keep expecting to hear the crunch of snow or spot a flash red hair as Terra follows me. But there's nothing. Oh yeah, that's right, I forgot. Terra was kind of rude last time. I'm alone. I hurry through the woods practically on autopilot. Less than a week ago, I have never stepped from the forest my own, but now I already have the path to the clearing memorized. It gives me extra time to worry. What am I even doing? Everything about this situation is extremely not me. Heading off of my own into a dark forest without telling anyone? To go meet up with a ghost? Even thinking the word ghost still makes my heart lurch. I've seen her with my own eyes, and yet I still have trouble believing it. And I'm just trusting that she's not going to lead me to her lair and suck out my soul or something like that. I guess the well-known lair of the ghost. I feel like Gretel, and I'm not even cautious enough to leave a breadcrumb trail. But still, I keep walking. There's something exciting in being on my own, in doing something without Terra. I can't remember the last time I had a secret from her. At least, not a big one. Not telling her about the ghost girl feels a little bit like rebellion. And I feel like I deserve something exciting that's all my own. She and Morgan can go do whatever. I doubt Terra will even notice I'm not around. And even if she does, it's something that she needs to get used to. I've tried to show her how to cut a video or frame a shot lots of times. It's her own fault if she still doesn't get it. Just like it's her own fault that she's missing out now. As I approach the clearing, I slow down a little. My usual trepidation overtakes me once again as I contemplate just how reckless this is. There's absolutely no guarantee that the girl isn't dangerous. They'll walk out of these woods alive. Normally I'd chastise Terra for following her gut instinct, which dictates probably 70% of her decisions. Yet that's all I have to go off right now. The feeling that I'm safe with the ghost girl, and she won't harm me. I cross the threshold of the trees and into the clearing. Just like the other times, it's serenely quiet. Even my past footsteps are gone, erased by the wind or snowfall.
I'm here.
Somehow I feel like she already knows. The forest swallows my words, returning the frozen, pristine silence. Soundlessly, she steps out from behind a tree. A small smile sits on her face, though her eyes are slightly downcast. She waves me my eyes for just a moment before glancing away.
Hi there.
My words hang in the still air.
Were you waiting for me?
We lock eyes again, and she nods, quickly, earnestly. Oh, that's okay, Gil. I hope you enjoy Lurk, and I hope you're having a good Tuesday. Day of Tues. Ugh.
I hope it wasn't for too long.
She shakes her head and then she laughs. I'm not sure the joke is, though. Is
What?
the day?
What's so funny?
Well, hey, regardless of what happens, the day is nearly over. And tomorrow's a new day, so, it'll be a different experience. Hopefully a better one. Once she catches her breath, she bites her lip as she ponders. After a moment, she shrugs, looking apologetic. I guess explaining a joke through gestures would be difficult. She saws up next to me, and I fight the urge to step back. Though I've decided to trust her, my instincts still belie my nerves. But what she seems to be most interested in is the bag slung over my shoulder. She simulates opening the bag so that she can see into it.
Nosy, huh?
Immediately, she backsteps, waving her hands in a frantic, apologetic motion.
Sorry, I was just kidding. You can look.
She regards me like a timid deer as I pull the bag open for her to see. Inside are a couple books I picked up in the village this morning. I hope the first one, small and square and baby blue.
I got a really strange look from the person who runs the bookstore because of this one. It's a book of baby names.
Her eyes go wide and she grasps at her belly, then points at me. It takes me a second to understand what she means, and for some reason I feel my face flush.
No, I am not pregnant. But I thought maybe you could use it to show me your name? If it's a name that would be...
Before I finish my sentence, she zoomed back over to me, all sense of personal space once again discarded. She clasps her hands, a fiery look in her eyes, and hops up and down. Frankly, it's adorable.
Guess you're a fan. Okay, cool.
That actually is a pretty sweet idea. I'm all for that. She eyes the book hungrily. She must be really excited to share her name with me. It's a little exciting for me, too. It's nice to see someone so happy about being with me. I fight to keep an overzealous grin off my face.
Okay, let's see.
I look around. Aside from trees and snow, there isn't much. I wonder if there's something about this place in particular that the girl likes.
Is there somewhere nearby where we could sit down? It feels a little weird to just keep standing.
Finger on her chin, she ponders. Then she turns and points towards the woods, even further in. I can tell from the look in her eyes that she's uncertain. I swallow a lump in my throat. I've come this far after all.
Sure, that's fine. Lead the way.
She does so, but never goes too far from my side. Every few steps she glances over at me as if making sure I'm still there. That feels a little backwards to me, but in a nice way. I don't really feel compelled to break the silence either. Of course, part of that is because any conversation would be one-sided. But also, she looks content. Like, she's just happy to be here. I am too. The silence doesn't feel vast and overwhelming like it has with Tara. It feels warm. Before too long, I realize where our destination is. This is nearly the same path that Morgan took us down just a couple dusks ago. I recognize some of the more grotesquely warped trees.
We're going to that church.
Eyes wide, she nods, probably surprised that I know of it.
One of the villagers showed it to us a few days ago. Me and my friend.
It feels weird to just call Tara my friend. Usually if I'm talking to someone about Tara, they've met her. The girl just nods yet again. As we reach the edge of the trees and the church itself comes into sight, I look around for traces of the monster we saw days before. There are none to be seen, though. No snapped or toppled trees. No footsteps as deep as I am tall. Much like the girl beside me, there's no trace of its existence. I look over to the door of the church, where she's patiently waiting for me. Once again, I fight back all my fears and hesitations and head for the door too. It's too late to turn back now. The door is still slightly ajar from our visit days ago. A thin trail of snow powders the entryway, but otherwise the church is dry. It's still unnaturally warm. I wonder if that has to do with the girl too. From the way she walks, I can tell she's familiar with the place. She has the front, stopping just shy of the altar, where she turns around to face me. Being back here is a little unnerving, and I slowly approach her. Though she hasn't given me any reason to be suspicious, the image of those monstrous eyes is ingrained in my memory. But this time there's no howling wind or earth-shaking footsteps. Just one girl, waiting patiently. Oh, that's cute. I'm a sucker for cute art like this. I give her a smile as I sit down on one of the pews near the front. It's hewn from stone, smooth and rigid. She takes a seat right beside me. Normally, being this close to strangers makes me feel uncomfortable, but with her, I don't really mind. Part of it is, of course, the fact that I can't feel her at all. But the other part is that it feels kind of pleasant to sit together like this. I hastily push that thought out of my head. She's a ghost. She is literally transparent and insubstantial. I rummage through the bag and grab the book of baby names.
Okay, so, first?
She bounced up and down with anticipation as I tear off the plastic cling wrap and stuff in the tote bag. Oh, she bought like a freshly new book. Okay, I thought she went to a library, but I must have missed that context.
Is the first letter early in the alphabet?
She nods and holds up one finger.
I. L?
Two shakes of her head. She touches her index fingers together, then uses her middle finger to cross between them.
Oh, an A.
Enthusiastic nodding. I flip to the first couple pages in the book, right in the middle of the A's. The first name I spot is Amber. Impatiently, she leans over me and motions to go further back, towards the start. I turn the pages slowly, giving her time to scan. On the very first page, she holds out a hand to stop and points. She's practically hanging over my shoulder to show me.
Abigail. Your name is Abigail.
She gives me the biggest, most radiant grin I've ever seen as she nods. Her joy is infectious, and I can't help but smile too.
Abigail.
I repeat it, and she looks even more joyful. A beam of light breaks through the glass window, illuminating dust motes that make it look as if she's sparkling. We lock eyes, and I feel my breath catch in my throat. Look in her eyes, pure, unadulterated happiness, is something I've never seen before. They shine with tears. The good kind. The kind that bring out the color of her eyes. The radiant kind. I didn't know I could make someone happy like this. I quickly look away, back to the now irrelevant book in my lap.
Anyway, Abigail. I had a couple questions. Is that okay?
Abigail nods.
So, maybe this is kind of rude to ask, but are you a ghost? Or are you something else?
Abigail closes her eyes and, with a sad smile, nods.
I'm sorry.
I'm not sure what the appropriate response to something like that is.
Then, are you from Eisenfeld?
Nod.
Do you know a girl from there called Morgan?
She shakes her head. That makes sense. I'm sure Morgan would have mentioned her before if so.
So have you, been a ghost for a long time then?
I cringe a little as I ask. It seems gosh, although I'm not entirely sure what proper etiquette is for this kind of conversation. In answer to my question, she nods again.
Do you know how long?
A shrug. She holds up two fingers, then two fists.
200?
Another shrug and a nod.
200 years.
200. I murmur to myself in slight disbelief. It could be more. I doubt she's been keeping track of every day. The word out there, the world I came from, it may as well be another planet for her.
I'm sorry.
It's incomprehensible to me. I can't fathom that much time passing, unable to talk to anyone. How lonely that must be. She's closed her eyes yet again. Though I've been interpreting her silence as serene, I wonder if that's how she feels. These yes or no questions are practically the extent of what I can ask her. There's still such a gulf between who she is and what I know of her. Centuries worth of solitude.
In all that time, have you ever spent time like this with someone else?
Without opening her eyes or looking at me, she shakes her head again.
I'm the only one?
Nod. I fall silent too, my head still reeling. There's so many things I want to ask and want to know. How did she die? Why did her spirit stick around? Does she know about the thing we saw in the snow? Why am I the first person she's shown herself to? But there's no way she could answer. And even if she could, I wonder if she'd want to. Is it impolite to remind a ghost that they're dead? It's morbidly funny to me that these are questions I have to ask myself. Tara would love this. Tara would. I push a thought out of my head. Tara's not here right now. It's just me and Abigail.
Would you like me to read that other book?
Her grin returns, a moment of melancholy dispelled. Seems I made the right call in changing the subject. I show her the cover before I crack it open, enjoying that new book smell. Okay, real talk, new book smell, very good. Like, there's just something about that, like, freshly printed paper that's just, mwah, chef's kiss.
This is a book I read a lot when I was younger. It's about a girl who wants to be a hero, so she goes on a quest with her best friend to prove herself. It's a little childish, I guess, but maybe you'd like it?
Abigail claps her hands and nods. I have a feeling I could read the dictionary to her and she'd be satisfied, but I don't mention that.
Okay.
I smooth the crease and open to the first page.
Once upon a time.
It's a story that I could probably recite by heart. My mom used to read it to me when I was a little girl, and it was one of the books that I used to learn to read. Wow, I horrifically almost misread that. Wow. I was both surprised and excited to see that there was a copy in Eisenfeld's bookstore. I settled into an easy cadence of reading. Though I'm not used to reading out loud, it starts to feel pretty natural after only a couple pages. Like my mom used to do, I give all the characters different voices. I don't have quite the range that Mom does, but Abigail seems to enjoy it all the same. She smiles and laughs in all the right places. It makes my heart warm to see how much she's enjoying it. Her eyes are closed again, but she looks quite content. As we finish chapter 2, Abigail scoots a little bit closer and rests her head near my shoulder. I pause mid-sentence, surprised, but resume just a second later. Though I can't feel her there, the sentiment is clear. I keep reading. Sometimes when I glance down, I can see that her eyes are open, reading along. Her lips mouth the same words I am. One time she catches me looking and blushes, but I just smile and continue going. After we finish chapter 4, I finally pause. My mouth is dry and my jaw is starting to hurt a little bit. I must have been reading aloud for close to an hour. Even though I stop, Abigail doesn't sit up or open her eyes. Her hand rests on my arm and I set the book aside. Do ghosts need to sleep? That's another question I can ask, but maybe at a different time. Right now, I'm happy to let her pretend. Quietly, I hum a song. It's something from the radio. A title I can't remember, but that's always stuck in my head. I'm extremely off-key, I'm sure, but I don't care. It just feels right. When I stop, she finally opens her eyes and sits back up. As we gaze at each other, she mouths 2 words I don't have to be good at reading lips to decipher. Thank you.
No problem. I hope you like the story.
First she claps and then she places one hand over her heart. I laugh flattered, but also a little embarrassed.
I think that's all I can do today, but we should read more sometime. If you want to, I mean.
I already know the answer, but she gives me an emphatic nod all the same.
Okay. It's a promise.
She touches her heart again, and I smile.
I should probably head back to the cabin soon. People will start to get suspicious if I'm gone for too long.
Abigail cocks her head like an owl, curious.
I, haven't told my friends about you yet. It's sort of like our secret, I guess. And I want to keep it that way for a little longer.
She smiles in agreement. Once it's getting dark, we say our goodbyes and part ways at the church. Same as when we first met. She watches me go until she vanishes from sight. Once it starts getting dark, we say our goodbyes and part ways from the church. Same as when we first met, she watches me go until she vanishes from sight. As I head back towards the cabin, my head is swimming, or maybe drowning. Oh, game? I thought it froze. It did not, though. It's hard to think of anything but Abigail, all alone in the middle of the forest for centuries. What's her story? I want to know, but I doubt I ever will. Yeah, I'm already looking forward to seeing her again. Even though in the back of my mind I'm aware that Tara and I will only be here a few more weeks. It seems almost cruel knowing that this is all so short-lived. If I were her, would I rather have a few weeks of happiness just to lose it again, or never have anything at all? The question makes my head and heart hurt. The walk back feels like it goes by much quicker than my journey to the clearing and then the church. As I get closer to the cabin, I can see that the windows are dark. Tara must be in town or out with Morgan somewhere. I wonder if she noticed I was gone. My musing is interrupted by the sudden sound of footsteps in the snow. The mayor steps up from behind a tree, just like Abigail did earlier.
Good evening, Madison.
Evening, Miss Mayor.
Where have you been?
I freeze. Her tone is sharp with no pretense of being conversational. Her glare is even sharper. Does she know about Abigail, nor about the forest spirit? Surely she would have mentioned it if so. My mind reels while I stall for time.
I was out for a walk in the forest.
I'm bad at lying, so I try to just tell her half-truths.
I can see that. Where did you go?
Around. I was just walking around. Needed the fresh air.
Alone? Where is your friend? Or my daughter?
With each question she asks, she takes a nearly imperceptible step closer. I shrug, trying to look indifferent. I don't think it's working.
I'm not sure. Tara and I had an argument earlier. I wanted to be alone.
An argument? Regarding what?
She's far too close for comfort now. Close enough that she could reach out and grab me by the throat if she wanted to. Still, I'm so taken aback by the nerve of her asking about my personal issues that my voice comes out stronger than I could have hoped for.
I'm sorry, but I'm not comfortable talking about it.
The mayor regards me for a long moment. Her nostrils flare. I meet her gaze and don't look away, even though I desperately want to. I half expect her tongue to shoot out and taste the air like a snake. It feels as if she can see right through me. I'm almost certain that she knows I'm hiding something from her. More than just my argument with Tara.
I see.
She flips her hair and walks past me, heading into the forest.
Be careful, Madison. The woods are dangerous on your own.
I was about to ask if that was a threat, but that little giggle after you said that definitely makes it seem like a threat now. Jeez. I stand there, hard in my throat, until the sound of snow under her feet fades into silence. Shuddering, I hurry the rest of the way to the cabin. Oh. We get a change in perspective. A bright burst of light jerks me awake. I groan, getting ready to toss a pillow at Maddie and demand she turn the light back off. It's so bright it hurts when I try to open my eyes. But when I do, I realize the light is coming from the window, and it's not a window I recognize. Uh-oh. Tara and Morgan I'm just gonna, don't mind me, I'm just gonna, I don't know if I can show this on Twitch, actually, we're just gonna, yeah, we're just gonna, I mean, it's not too bad yet, but it's definitely not too bad yet. It's nothing terrible, right? Like, but, you know, we're gonna be just a little careful, you know, Morgan is starting to stir next to me, an adorable little smile on her face. It's so cute that for a minute it distracts me from the fact that she's completely naked. It takes another second for me to realize that I am too. I mean, they're not showing anything, but it's still, like, implied, so, you know. I yank the covers up to my chest to, well, cover myself. Memories of last night start to come back in bits and pieces. We've been going over notes about something, and admittedly I might have gotten a little flirty, but next thing I know, we're kissing. Books are on the floor. I hear papers crumbling underneath my butt. And once I said yes, she couldn't even wait to get to the bed before she started undressing me, dear lord. And it's not that I'm complaining, but it was definitely the last possible way I thought she'd respond. At least now I remember why I'm sore. It isn't long before Morgan opens her eyes as well. The rest of her face doesn't move as she wakes up. She sleeps with that same blank face that she has when she's awake.
Good morning, Tara.
Her voice seems a little different. Softer, maybe? I have no idea, but it's kind of nice.
Hey, yeah. Good morning.
I cringe at the sound of my own voice. That was way too loud. I need to do a better job keeping my cool.
How'd you sleep?
Better than I have in a long time.
We're just gonna... Just, you know, we'll peep out a little bit. I smile.
Although you do snore. Loudly.
Yeah, see, there's game going on here. I try to let my smile break. I mean, she's right, but only when I lay on my back. I turn to... Okay, I am... Dear lord, okay, I'm just gonna... Just a little bit, just a little bit. I try to think back on a long list of awkward morning afters and pick out a good comeback, but everything grinds to a halt as soon as I feel her lips press against my side. It's just a tiny peck, the kind I'd give a cute fan, but she also blows a tiny puff of hot air into my skin that makes me shiver. I can feel my face turning as red as my hair and know a comeback's not happening.
Tara, are you okay?
I need to say something. I am so red right now, dear lord. I need to say something to get back on top of this mess, but all I can do is stare down at her. Those bright green eyes, that soft face, that messy orange hair.
Tara?
Oh, sorry. I was just thinking that, well, you're cute.
Hey, I've had worse... Oh, okay, actually, we're safe, we're safe. Okay, we're safe, we're safe, okay. Oh, I was sweating there for a minute, jeez. Hey, I've had worse lines. I can't see your face, but I think I hear her chuckle, or something like it. I should probably get up too, but I can't help taking a moment to stare. Maddie always gets on me for being thirsty, but I think I earned it this time. Her curves, her muscles, she's like someone asked me every last detail about what my type was, then turned her real. This village is a dream come true. My clothes are spread across the floor, and it takes me a minute to hunt them all down once I'm out of bed. Actually, that's how they usually are at home, too. I've got more important things than clothes to keep in my dresser. Morgan's already dressed by the time I get everything together, with her hair back in its usual pigtails. Cute as they are, I kind of miss how it looked down.
Hey, so,
I guess the adult advisory was there for a reason, though. Yeah.
Is something wrong?
your mom isn't home, right? I'm pretty sure she won't be happy if she sees me coming out of your room first thing in the morning.
Oh, they were at her house. I thought they were back over at the... Oh. Oh, I see.
You made enough noise last night that she'd know anyway. I don't think she's going to do anything about it.
Oh, no.
Oh,
I feel like I'm burning up, but her expression is the same as ever. She's not even trying to be smooth, and she's still better at it than I am. And I'm already really good. You know, it's kind of interesting because awkward as this is a little bit for me right now, I am really hoping that we kind of get to start, get into, Tara's perspective on things here pretty soon, because I'm really not happy with how she treated Maddie, and, I really need to know what was going through her head.
great. Yeah, cool. Glad we don't have to worry.
I'm going to go make some coffee for us. That's my bra, by the way.
No wonder it felt so loose. She's out the door, leaving me to search for more clothing and think about the conversation Morgan and I are going to have when she gets back. Oh boy. I'm still thinking about what I want to say when she returns with the coffees, already chugging hers down.
I usually make it strong, but I put plenty of cream and sugar in yours, so you should be fine.
I normally take it black, actually.
I saw your daily routine video. I know how you take your coffee.
I don't even know why I'm bothering with the usual cool routine at this point. I should just accept that I'm beat. I take a tiny sip of coffee and nearly fall back down the bed. Even with cream and sugar, this is the strongest thing I've ever tasted. She drinks this black?
Is it too much? I can put some liquor in it if you want.
Isn't coffee and alcohol really, really bad? Something about how the alcohol and the caffeine mix together.
Isn't it 8 in the morning?
I mean, that too, but...
Yes. Why do you ask?
I sigh and take another bare sip. The last thing I need right now is alcohol.
Hey, so... I think we need to talk.
Sure. What about?
I'm not sure if she doesn't know or doesn't care what I'm going to say, but from the way she's acted so far, I'm pretty sure it's the second one.
Look, you're a really great person. I really like hanging out with you, and I had a great time last night.
I know.
She needs to stop making me blush. I probably look the same way Mads does every time I try to introduce her to a cute girl.
I just want to make sure we're clear on what that was all about. I don't want you to get the wrong idea. I mean, I'm not really the dating type, and I'm gonna be leaving in a month. I'm happy to do stuff like this as long as it's...
Tara.
She doesn't sound frustrated or upset. If anything, her voice is softer.
We talked about this exact thing last night. You're cute, you're fun, and I really enjoyed having sex with you. But that's all this is, and neither of us expect or want anything different. You don't have to give me any excuses.
Blunt as ever. She takes another sip of coffee as I breathe a sigh of relief. All that worrying for nothing.
Great! Awesome, cool. Yeah, I'm glad that's settled then.
I should feel relieved, relaxed, all that good stuff. With the rough part of the way, it can go right back to being as intrepid and charming as always. So, why do I feel like I'm the one who got let down here? This kind of thing shouldn't bother me, even if it didn't go the way I'm used to. This is why I hate taking time to think about things.
So, did you make that sweater yourself?
Morgan's eyes widen my question. Looks like I found a good way to move on.
I did, actually. My ex showed me how to knit a few years ago, and I've been doing it ever since. It's a nice way to pass the time. If you want, I could make you something to take home when you're done here.
That'd be super cool. Everyone I know wears coats like Maddie's, or one of those big puffy marshmallow coats. I'm sure some hand-knit stuff would break the mold.
The fact that you insist on going investigating in nothing but a light jacket made me assume you didn't like coats in general.
I mean, I'll be fair, I would definitely take a jacket over a coat, but sometimes you gotta bundle up.
Maybe I was just waiting to get in on the hip cool fashion trend.
I catch her smiling in between sips. She might act different, but I get the feeling that we're on the same wavelength for some things. I mean, obviously since we end up together, but still. Well, not together, of course, but...
I thought it was because of your shirt. You wear that same moon shirt in every vlog you do. I didn't expect it to be the same way in real life.
It was actually Maddie's idea, believe it or not. Something about having a visual brand for the sake of the show. I figured my winning smile would be enough, but... I mean, as long as people like it.
I didn't realize she was that invested in the show. I figured she didn't care that much.
Ouch. Hearing her mention how distant Maddie seems a pretty painful reminder of how much things have fallen apart between us.
She used to be. Back when we started, she was a lot more invested in this whole thing. We've been inseparable since high school, and I figured she was really excited to keep that bond going strong.
Then why don't you talk to her? Like, what? See, this makes me mad. This is a trope I hate, where it's like a misunderstanding, where like the two characters both want the same thing, but they do not communicate it to each other in even the slightest. It's just, I just want to like grab both of them and just strangle them. I hate this trope so much.
That's pretty incredible. I don't think I've had any friendships that lasted more than a year.
I realize that she hasn't mentioned a single friend since we got here. I guess claiming your cat talks to you probably doesn't score you points with anyone other than me.
Oh yeah, it's been like around 10 years or something. Don't tell her I told you this, but we actually met because we were both total goths.
I jump when Morgan suddenly bursts into laughter. I've only known her for about a week, but it feels weirdly unlike her. Probably because it's the most emotion she's shown since we met, and that includes last night.
I can't imagine Maddie walking around with raccoon eyes and dyed hair.
You have no idea. She was goth enough to put me to shame. Always talking about the darkness in her soul. Chilling with all other cool goth kids, calling herself Raven. It was great.
Oh my god, that's so Raven.
You were part of a group? Do you keep in touch with any of them? I'd hope at least one of them kept the look.
My smile fades as I look away from her. She could have known that asking that would bring back bad memories, so I don't blame her. But the memories are still there.
Not really. Most of them stopped talking to me when I told them I was trans, and the rest bailed as soon as I started to actually transition.
Oh. Yeah, people suck.
Maddie was the only one who really stuck up for me. I'll never forget that.
Morgan puts down her now empty mug. I'm not even halfway through mine.
I'm so sorry, Tara. I didn't mean to.
Nah, forget it. It's seriously okay. The whole thing is ancient history now.
That isn't a lie. I feel a hell of a lot better about the whole thing now that I know I'm doing way better than any of them. I can tell Morgan isn't by it, though. Better switch up the subject. You know, honestly, good for you, girl. Like, really? Like, honestly? If you can't be happy with yourself, then who cares, right? You know yourself better than anyone else, so you do what makes you happy. That's my philosophy at the end of the day.
Anyway, after that, the two of us were inseparable all through high school. We even picked the same college so it'd be easier to stay in touch. The only time our friendship was ever on the rocks was... well, maybe we shouldn't talk about that.
I try not to grin when I see Morgan's eyes widen. Got him.
You wouldn't say that if you weren't going to tell me.
Well, I don't know.
Why do you gotta make a game out of it? She leaves her mug on the table and moves closer to me. I definitely saw her smile for a second there.
The Tara I know would never pass up a chance to tell a story.
Well, if you insist. Maddie and I actually dated once, for a few weeks, back when we first started college. Everyone we knew was pairing off, so we figured we should try it too. It's our secret shame.
I'm not surprised. You two would make a terrible couple.
Geez, blunt much? You're not wrong, though. It nearly killed our friendship. Thankfully, we called it off and went back to being friends. We haven't had any trouble since.
Until, recently where you're not communicating with your best friend and I just want to reach out and just shake you.
Until now.
Thank you, Morgan.
Yeah, until now.
So much for lightening the mood.
I don't know. I guess her deciding to walk away from everything we built together doesn't exactly make me feel jazzed about our friendship.
Her having different priorities doesn't have anything to do with friendship.
What, like going back to school? She hated school. So either that's some bullshit excuse, or she just hates working on Terranormal even more.
She was talking about coming back. Having real proof seems to have changed her mind.
And then what? She goes along with it for another few months and gets sick of it? I can't deal with that again.
I can tell I'm getting louder, but I don't care. I haven't had a chance to let any of this out since it happened. Morgan, of course, doesn't even flinch.
The thing is,
Now she's acting like she wants to be in on the action again? Am I really supposed to believe that she wants to commit to this?
but she...
I'm not an idiot. It's not like I'm ignoring the fact that she keeps running off to the woods to be by herself. I'm supposed to just be cool with that?
Talk to each other. I swear to... you two are making... Tara, you're making me so angry.
Tara,
I'm so sick of all this bullshit. Maybe I'd just be better off without her.
Tara!
I jump as her voice drowns mine out completely. This burst of emotion isn't funny. It's honestly kind of terrifying.
Stop. Just stop. You have no idea what you're talking about. You don't want Maddie to leave the show, but you're refusing to listen to her when she talks about coming back. You don't want to lose your friendship, but you're freezing her out when she tries to make connections again.
Exactly.
I love your show. You know I do. But there are more important things in your life than talking about Bigfoot in front of a camera.
Holy shit. What the hell is that? What you deserve. She just shot through my bullshit like some kind of forest-dwelling therapist. How am I supposed to respond to that? All I can do is sit back down in the bed and let it wash over me. She sits down next to me and takes my hand in hers. She gives a little squeeze and I squeeze back. I can already feel myself starting to calm down. When Morgan speaks again, her voice is back to its normal flatness.
Talk to her. Tell her how you feel and what you need. You can't spend your whole time with me and expect her to feel appreciated.
Yes, Morgan, you're my favorite right now. You are literally saying everything I've been thinking. Talk to her, figure it out. This just like petty, oh, I'm just going to shut you out. That never works. That just causes drama and discomfort for everyone involved. Nobody likes that. I'm sorry. This is I know I'm getting a little heated, but this is something I hate when people do, and I see people do it all the time. So, it's so cathartic to see, another character being no, stop that. Anyway.
I don't want to leave you out, though. You're the whole reason we're here. Plus, I really like spending time with you.
Oh my god, they were roommates?
I do too. But we'll have plenty of time together. You're here for an entire month.
Yeah, of course.
The word month makes me feel a weird little pang in my chest. For some reason, I don't want to think about how temporary this is. I look over her hand to take another sip of coffee. It's barely lukewarm now, and I consider just spitting it back in the cup. That definitely wouldn't be a good look, though.
Do you want me to take you back to the cabin?
I think I'm gonna do a little more investigating here first. Give myself some time to think about what I want to say to Mads.
That's a good idea.
Hey, first time for everything.
She lets out another little laugh. It's not nearly as big as her earlier one, but it's really nice to hear it after all that heavy stuff.
I'll go set up shop then. Come see me when you want to ride back.
You got it.
I stay and stretch, scan the room one more time to see if I'm forgetting anything.
Wait, are those my panties?
Yeah, you're wearing mine.
Sure, why not? I try to will myself not to blush, determined not to let her get one more fluster in.
Shit, sorry. I can change real quick.
It's fine. You can wear them. Just give them back when you're done.
My cheeks are burning again. So much for that.
Oh, cool. Thanks. I guess I'll see you later then.
Sure. You know where to find me.
Without thinking, I lean forward and press my lips against hers. They're soft, somehow not nearly dried out by the cold air as mine are. Wait, why am I doing this? I jerk my head away, expecting to be met with an angry glare. But all I see is the corners of her mouth twitch up for a split second before she's back to neutral. Could be worse, right? Either way, it's definitely time for me to get the hell out of here. I head for the door, but something stops me before I actually leave.
Thank you.
Anytime.
I don't know what I'm thanking her for. I'm not sure if she knows either. I'm out the door and back out into the village square, doing my best to leave my confusion behind me. I've got more important things to think about right now. I've got to think about what I'm going to say to Mads. Tell her I'm sorry for being an idiot and that I don't want this to screw up things more than it already has. But as I think about it, I realize that I've got one more problem when it comes to her. If she finds out I slept with our host, she's gonna kill me. Oh, we're going back? We're going back! Oh wait, no, that's Morgan. We're not going back. We're not going back at all. The cabin comes into view. It's warm and casts a glow on the snow. I keep my steady pace. It's been a while since Tara and I talked. Things still aren't fixed. Oh, of course they're not. They've improved. She's getting Maddie's help filming now, but I can still see that distance between them. It doesn't help that Maddie keeps choosing to stay behind when we go to the village. Their excuses are always flimsy, but Tara doesn't push it. I'm not sure if she wants to. I'm not entirely sure what to do. I never expected this to be easy, but now it's gotten complicated in a way that I couldn't have predicted. I wish I could help, but I'm afraid that intervening any more than I already have would make things worse. Maddie still doesn't trust me despite everything. I have to believe it's not too late. I need both of them fully committed before I can tell them why they're really here. That's ominous. And the cabin, I enter without knocking.
It again.
Not it again.
I've tried it like 6 times, Mads. I don't know what else you're expecting here.
Hello there.
Hello there. They both look up from what they were doing. It's not a surprising scene. Tara's hunched over her laptop in the living room while Maddie stands nearby looking ready to hit her. I don't think either of them noticed me entering.
Hi.
Hey!
While Maddie seems annoyed at my interruption, Tara seems genuinely happy. Whether that's for a distraction or because it's me, I'm not sure. I walk over and sit down beside Tara, placing myself between her and Maddie.
Check this out.
You know, I will say, we were kind of like with Madison's POV for so long, it does feel a little weird kind of changing perspective now. I'm not used to it. She angles her laptop so I can see it and presses play on video. There's some distorted noise, but the screen stays black.
What am I supposed to be looking at?
Exactly.
Somehow exasperated, Maddie throws up her hands and storms off into the kitchen, banging around the cupboards without actually doing anything.
This was the footage that we took the other night. Remember? With the spirit and stuff?
I remember.
Yeah, well, it was totally fine a few days ago. We watched it 1 billion times, so you know as well as I do.
Right. It was perfectly visible then.
But now...
She plays the clip again. Nothing but noise. It's worthless now.
So what happened?
Beats me. That's what we're trying to figure out.
Maddie slams the cabinet particularly loudly.
What happened
What Maddie thinks happened.
is that the file got corrupted somehow. Either when you exported it or when it was transferring or something.
But it was working fine before. Seriously, ask Morgan.
She points at me. I wish she wouldn't bring me into it like this, since it'll seem like I'm taking a side.
The video did work before, yes.
Great, that helps us a lot.
Isn't there a backup somewhere?
This was supposed to be the backup. I thought I'd uploaded it to our server too, but I guess the Wi-Fi cut out, and that didn't actually happen.
Tara bites her lip.
That one's on me.
I'm expecting another sardonic reply from Maddie, but to my surprise, she sits down across from us and sighs.
Well, we can't change it now.
I can't tell if Morgan, if she dislikes Madison or what. It seems that Tara's admission of guilt, even partial, helped her calm down some.
Was that the only footage that was affected?
I didn't check. Can't see why anything else would be screwed up, though. We just got unlucky. Super unlucky.
I don't know about that.
That's a bit of an understatement. Without that footage, we don't have anything to show.
I want to tell her that there will be plenty more opportunities for filming the spirit, and likely other equally remarkable creatures. But I know that she won't believe me, yet. Geladura warned me this would probably happen, as if I hadn't already known. But Geladura also didn't help my case at all, since she said she didn't know if she could trust them yet. I wish she would have told me that before I made a fool of myself in front of them both. Tara laughs, but it sounds forced.
Guess we'll have to take some new footage then. Morgan, you don't have any other mystical spirits sitting around that we could film, do ya?
Funnily enough, I do. I just smile, though, going along with the joke. For some reason, Maddie tugs at her collar and looks away out the window. Perhaps she's more comfortable around me than I thought.
Can I borrow your laptop? I'll see if I can move the file to my computer. And maybe salvage something.
You really think that'll work?
No, but I'd like to try.
Sure thing.
She lifts the laptop over me and passes it to Maddie.
Thanks. I'll be in my room. Let me know if you need anything.
She leaves, taking Tara's laptop with her. She pushes her bedroom door, but doesn't close it all the way. Beside me, Tara places her hand over mine. It's not anything that Maddie would be able to see from her room. I'm not sure why Tara so insistent on keeping our relationship a secret. Still, I appreciate the gesture. Of everything that's happened since the two of them arrived here, getting close to Tara like this has certainly been the most unexpected.
It seems like things are a bit better between the two of you. Did you talk?
Did you? Please say yes. I make sure to keep my voice low. Tara, please say yes.
Not yet. I was going to, but first Mads wasn't home, then she was shut in her room all day when she got back.
Oh, you make me so mad. Talk to your friend, young lady, I swear to God.
I was going to bring it up today, but then all this stuff happened.
Christ.
At least the two of you are talking a little. She must be feeling bad too.
Maybe. You should have heard her before you got here, though.
I'm sorry.
Nah, don't be. It's like you said, this is on both of us.
You really don't know what happened to the footage? I promise I won't tell Maddie anything.
Nope, it's 100% legit. It was working fine, and then it wasn't. I didn't even drop my computer or spill water on it this time.
That's so strange.
You're telling me. Mads is convinced I did something to screw it up, though.
I have a suspicion in the back of my mind, but I don't want to bring it up yet. I don't want to alarm Tara if I can help it.
Has anyone...
Right in the middle of my sentence, the heater in the corner of the room makes a sizzling noise and then dies. Tara and I both stare at it.
Did you see that?
I did.
God!
Clutching her head in her hands, Tara gets up and goes to inspect the heater. She looks around and underneath it, although it's clear she has no idea what she's actually looking for. While her back is turned, I take a moment to peer out the window, scanning for anyone or anything out of the ordinary. I don't see anything.
What happened?
Heater died. Check it out.
Wait, you're kidding me.
I wish.
Alright, the cold is starting to set in.
Was it a short circuit or something?
I'm glad that she didn't default to blaming Tara for this. My suspicion gets a little stronger too.
No clue. Morgan and I were sitting here when it suddenly died. Didn't give any warning or anything. It was a lot like the...
She trails off. She doesn't even finish the sentence. I'm sure we're all thinking the same thing.
like the footage.
She says it anyway. None of us say anything. Then Maddie chuckles nervously.
That's a pretty weird coincidence.
Do you two think that, like, they're connected somehow?
What, the heater and the footage? There's no way that could be. It's just bad luck.
Maybe.
She gives me a look that says she doesn't think it's random. I'm inclined to agree.
Any luck with saving the video so far?
Not yet, but I just started. Give me a bit.
Right. I'm gonna go grab a blanket. You want one, Morgan?
No thanks.
What the hell?
2 seconds after she's into her bedroom, Tara yells and pops back out.
The heater in my room is dead too!
What?
Are you sure?
Of course I'm sure. Come look if you want.
Maddie and I both hurry into Tara's room. Sure enough, the heater in here is as dead as the one in the living room.
Were they on the same breaker? This cabin must have ancient wiring, right?
Oh, hold on, I'm getting a ping. Somebody's pinging me. Why am I being pinged? Why am I being pinged? Someone trying to set up plans. It would be rude not to respond to them. Hold on, I must respond to the ping. Okay, I have successfully responded to the ping.
No, it was renovated a couple years ago.
Is the one in your room still working, Mads?
Without waiting for an answer, Tara pushes past and goes to look, ignoring Maggie's feeble clamor against barging in. We follow Tara yet again. In Maggie's room, the heater is running fine.
That's so unfair!
Maddie frowns too, looking perplexed.
I don't get it. Why just in here?
That's a pretty weird coincidence.
Tara does a poor imitation of Maddie's voice.
It is! What else do you want me to say?
Grumbling, Tara leaves the room without giving an actual answer. Maddie doesn't try to stop her and stares at her perfectly functional heater. I shut the bedroom door behind me as I leave.
Okay, tell me I'm not crazy. Something weird is going on.
You're not crazy. This definitely isn't a coincidence.
You say that like you know what's going on.
I'm pretty sure she does. I can feel a pit opening up in my stomach. I've never been good with words, and I'm not sure how to phrase everything I'm about to tell her, much less how she'll take it. I must struggle for too long because I can see Tara's expression go from mopey to concerned.
Hey, you okay? I was just kidding, but like, do you actually know what's up?
I press a finger to my lips and point to Tara's room. Her eyes go wide, but she nods. I lead the way with her following close behind.
We can talk now.
Tara looks like she's going to explode. She's got that, 1,000-yard stare here. You better tell me what's going on right this instant.
Now? What the hell? That was like something out of a spy movie.
Shh, not so loud.
I listen for any indication that Maggie's followed behind us or is eavesdropping, but her door never opens. So my question is, why are we keeping this a secret from Maddie? If she's also being impacted by... I'm just gonna... Tara watches, waiting for me to elaborate, but I can tell that it's taking every ounce of self-control she has not to barrage me with questions. It's understandable.
Okay, bear with me, because I'm not sure how to say some of this.
Nearly vibrant with excitement, Tara nods. I take a deep breath.
I don't think that all these malfunctions are a coincidence. I think they're intentional sabotage, and that my mother's to blame.
Her eyes get as wide as saucers.
Your mom?
Yes, and I also think that Maddie might be involved too. It's not her fault at all. I'm afraid that my mother might have gotten to her first. She might not even know it.
Gotten to her how?
As in, she's not in control of her actions. She might not even be aware of them.
Where is this going?
You mean like mind control?
More or less, yes.
I don't think so. She stares at me and then starts to laugh. She gets up and paces around the room, her hands flying in useless motions as she laughs.
Okay. Okay, you're screwing with me, right? Mind control. Maddie!
I'm not messing with you. I'm dead serious.
I can't blame her for being credulous. It's a lot to take in at once, and the rest of what I have to say is even stranger. But if there's anyone who believed me, who will believe the truth, it's Tara. Her laugh becomes a whistle as she calms down. She takes a second to compose herself, then sits on the bed next to me.
Okay, mind control. Go on.
Like I said, I doubt Maddie's even aware. It's probably more like sleepwalking for her, but it would make sense. You said she's been spending a lot of time away from the cabin, right? And that she doesn't like to talk about where she's been. Plus the footage being damaged, and then the heaters dying. It makes sense.
Once again, if y'all would just talk with each other, I swear to God.
You're gonna have to sell me on this more. I wouldn't say that makes sense. What's the point of it? Why would your mom do that, and how? Like we haven't even approached the point of making sense.
You know it's bad when Tara is the voice of reason.
I know. I'll explain.
I'm trying to remain calm myself, but there's a nervousness that I've never felt before. This is my first time ever talking about this with someone else. No matter how many times I imagine this conversation and rehearse in my head, it's nothing like real life.
My mom isn't really my mom. To be frank, she's not even human. Not anymore.
I pause, waiting to see how Tara takes it. No reaction. I doubt that anything I'm saying even registers as a possibility to her. My only choice is to go through it all and hope that she believes me in the end.
The person you've met, the creature, is something else, using a human woman's body as a host. She has the whole town under a glamour that makes them loyal to her, and she has for years. Longer than I've been alive. I think she has Maddie now, too. The reason that I sent you an email and invited you to Eisenfeld isn't because of the forest spirit or any of that other stuff, although it's related too. The reason is because I need your help. Evelyn, or the thing inside her, is going to try to kill me soon, to use me as a new host, within the next few weeks. You were the only people in the world who I could think of who might believe me. There wasn't anyone else I could ask. She knows that too, which is why she's trying to get rid of you now. Ruin your trip, make you want to leave. She would never hurt either of you. Too many people would notice if something happened. There'd be way too much unwanted attention on her. But if she could get the two of you to leave Eisenfeld, then she'd be able to proceed with her plans. I'm pretty sure that's what she's trying to do, through Maddie. That's it, I guess.
As I finish speaking, I look down at my legs. It feels like a weight has been lifted off my chest. If nothing else, I'm glad that I got to tell someone. Even if nothing changes, at least I got to share my story. If she doesn't believe me, she thinks I'm as crazy as May does, and then I'm out of options. The silence stretches on, and I glance up at Tara's face. For someone usually so expressive and easy to read, her face is immutable. I can't tell what she's thinking. She just stares at me more intensely, more scrutinizing than I've ever seen before. I meet her eyes, willing her to search mine and see that I'm telling the truth. I want to reach across and grab her hand. More than that, I want her to grab mine. Tara huffs, blowing a loose strand of hair that's fallen over her face. She blinks, pops her knuckles, scratches her legs, then she finally half smiles.
Okay, so then what do we do now?
Does that mean that you believe me?
My breath catches in my throat, scarcely daring to believe it. She hasn't confirmed yet. She could just be playing along.
Of course I do.
I can't help myself. I lean forward and wrap my arms around her in a very selfish hug.
I'm so sorry for dragging you into all of this.
She doesn't deserve any of what's going on. I'm brought into my own world of problems. Her arms wrap back around me without hesitation.
Hey, I'm glad you did.
Really?
Of course! If some other paranormal blog got this scoop, I'd be jealous forever.
I'm mad at you, but why are you so dumb? You're like dumb in every possible way, both the frustrating and the endearing kind, and I want to stay mad at you, but I can't. We both laugh.
But I'm not gonna lie, it's a lot to take in, especially the stuff about Mads. But if never coming here would have meant you having to deal with all this on your own, then it's a damn good thing we're here.
For the first time that I can remember, I feel warm and comfortable. It's a moment that I wish could last forever. I don't deserve her support, but I'm definitely glad that I have it.
Now let's go kick your mom's ass!
Yippee! I laugh again. I'm glad she's able to keep a light heart through all this. We're going to need it.
Really though, what do we do now? Pack our stuff and get out of here? You could totally crash with me and Mads. I'm sure she wouldn't mind. You'd have to get past that whole mind control thing first though.
No. Running away isn't an option. She would just take someone else instead. She has to be dealt with.
You said it'll happen in a couple weeks, right? How do you know?
It'll happen on the winter solstice. It's something to do with the moon. I don't really know the specifics myself. There's not a whole lot of information to go off.
You're in luck, because investigating stuff without a real lead is my speciality.
She's incorrigible and her smile's infectious. Her optimism and confidence makes me think that this might work out okay after all.
There'll be plenty of time for that, I promise. Right now, I should head back home.
Already? Feels like you just got here a bit ago.
I know. I wish I could stay longer, but I need to start preparing right away. There's a lot that I'll need to fill you in on, but it'll take some time for me to get ready.
So, like, later tonight?
Probably tomorrow or the next day.
Okay, I'll lie low until then. What should we do about...
Her voice trails off and she nods in the direction of the rest of the cabin and Maddie.
Nothing for now. Just try to act normal around her if you can.
So avoid conversation as much as possible. Easy peasy.
We stand together and Tara walks me to the front door.
So, see you soon, I guess?
Right.
She leans forward suddenly, give me another quick hug. My second one today. It's over far too quickly.
Cool. I'll be waiting.
I
smile.
Me too.
It's always scary going home and facing the prospect of seeing Evelyn face to face. Today, though, it doesn't seem as bad. There's still a long way to go, but with Tara's help, there's a chance everything will work out. That's more than I've ever been able to say before. Okay, back to Maddie. The skies are gray when I wake up. I check my phone for the time, thinking that must still be early. But no, it's almost 10. It's the clouds that are making it so dark. We're definitely in for a lot of snow today. It looks like it could be more than any of the previous storms. Sighing to myself, I get out of bed and get dressed without wasting any time. There's no way I'm going to be able to go see Abigail today. Not with the weather as it is. I hope she won't wait up for me. It's frigid in the living room. I've spent a while trying to fix the heater, but to no avail. I don't even know what's wrong with it. Tara must have had it pretty rough too. At least she could bundle up in blankets to keep warm. The door to her room is shut, so she's either gone or still asleep. I'm glad things have improved between us. She seemed to have a change of heart or something, because a couple days ago she started making small talk again. Even our argument over the footage wasn't as explosive as it could have been. If it happened 3 days prior, we probably wouldn't be on speaking terms at all anymore. I make myself a bowl of cereal and have a quiet breakfast alone. Although I've gotten used to not interacting with Tara much, there were still my visits with Abigail to look forward to. Now there's no telling how many days it'll be until the weather's cleared up enough for me to go see her again. Hopefully it'll blow over quickly. It's already starting to snow a little. Just past the time, I move my laptop out of the living room and start an episode of a show I've been meaning to watch. I keep one headphone out so that I'll be able to hear if Tara leaves her room. She never does. After 2 episodes, I get up and knock on their door. Unsurprisingly, there's no answer. I take a quick peek inside. Empty. She must be at Morgan's again. At this point, it's pretty obvious that they're more than friends. I'm not sure how I feel about that. It's not my business, of course. They're both adults and can do whatever they want. But I can't help being a little envious. It's been more than a year since I've been on a date. Things ended sort of messily with my last girlfriend, and since then I haven't really been looking. Working on the show kept me busy enough. Still, it wasn't that I was trying to avoid meeting anyone new. It just didn't happen. I'm not like Tara. I can't talk to strangers and carry on a conversation straight away. Business stuff, sure. Small talk? No way. I've always been a bit jealous of that. So, seeing how quickly and naturally Morgan and Tara end up together feels like a painful reminder of my own social inadequacies. I guess there's an expiration date on the relationship, whatever it may be, though. It's hard to believe that we're already halfway through our trip in Eisenfeld. It occurs to me that I'm in a similar situation with Abigail. Although our friendship is nothing like Morgan and Tara's, it is also time-limited. That thought hurts. More than I expected it to. I wish there was some way she could come back with us. I wonder how difficult it is to smuggle a ghost internationally. That's the kind of problem Tara would be great at solving if she was around. In fact, I wonder if I should maybe take this opportunity to try and mend things with her. Assuming Abigail was okay with it, I could take Tara to meet her. While not quite as dramatic as the Forest Spirit, having a genuine ghost on film would still be a huge win for the show. It's a little fun to me that an actual ghost is mundane compared to what else we've seen. I'm not entirely convinced on the idea. There's still some appeal to keeping the news to myself for at least a little bit longer. A knock at the front door interrupts my TV watching.
Coming!
I undo the latch and come face to face with Evelyn again.
Good afternoon.
Hi there.
My previous encounter with her on the way back from the church flashes through my mind and sets me on edge. There's a man I don't recognize with her too, adding to my unease.
We heard there was an issue with the heater, so we've come to fix it. Don't want you freezing to death out here.
Her demeanor is a 180 from last time. I wonder which of them let her know. Maybe Tara mentioned it earlier today.
Oh, thanks. That'll be a big help.
Aren't you going to let us in?
I realize I'm blocking the doorway and step back to make room. It's technically her cabin. I don't really have a right to say no.
Yeah, sorry.
The guy with her brushes past me and heads to the heater, getting right to work. Meanwhile, Evelyn and I both sit down in the living room. I stare at the floor, hoping that she'll start the conversation. But she seems content to just look around the room, admiring the decorating. When she clears her throat, I flinch.
I'm very sorry for the discomfort it must have caused. Even a single night without the warmth can be most unpleasant.
She stares at me intently like she's hoping for me to catch some hidden meaning. Whatever it is lost on me.
It's fine. It was just one night. Thanks for taking care of it so fast.
Of course. Are you the only one home today?
Yeah. Tara's out.
I can't imagine that Evelyn doesn't know about her and Morgan, or at least that the two of them have been spending so much time together. She and Morgan live in the same house after all. But Evelyn's eyebrows raise.
Is she now? My daughter said your friend was here. She wouldn't be foolish enough to venture into the woods on her own, would she? The weather's looking quite dire.
My mouth goes dry. Even Tara wouldn't be that reckless. Right?
I don't think so.
Good. Only a fool would go out in this.
As if on cue, a heavy gust of wind blows, making the whole cabin creak. Through the window, I can see the snowfall has already gotten heavier. Thick, heavy flakes mask the glass and obscure the view outside. Wait, if that's the case, why did you come out here? The workman finishes up and moves closer to the couch. He still hasn't said a word since he arrived.
Seems we're finished here. Do take care, Madison. And don't hesitate to call if you need help with anything else.
Will do. Thanks.
The two of them leave as abruptly as Morgan always does. The moment the door shuts behind them, I leap up and head for the landline phone. I don't know what that was about at all, but it's obviously there's something more going on than I'm aware of. Something sinister. There's a small scrap of paper jammed underneath the phone with Morgan's phone number scribbled on it. I dial and wait, praying that the weather won't render the phones useless. It rings and rings and rings, but doesn't pick up. Eventually it goes to a generic voicemail message delivered in an automated voice.
Damn it!
I slam the phone back to reset, then dial again.
Please, please, please.
If she's not there, if she's not with Morgan, then I don't know what I'll do. I don't know where else she could be. On the third ring, the phone clicks as someone answers. It's garbled and hard to hear, likely because of the storm.
Morgan?
The person on the other line says something unintelligible.
Hello?
It's just barely clear enough for me to hear my name.
Yeah, it's me. Hey, listen, is Tara with you?
There's another pause and some stacky noise. Then a beep as the line goes dead. Frantically, I hit the redial button. This time, she picks up on the first ring.
Hey, it's me. Is Tara with you?
There's a noise, but I can't tell if it's her answering me or just interference.
Sorry, what?
Again, the only response is garbled nonsense. I try to talk to her several more times, but nothing is intelligible. I don't even know if she can hear me. The call drops again, and this time I don't bother calling back. I could try to send her an email, but it'll take forever before the webpage loads enough for me to do that. I try to make myself calm down. Logically, she's got to be with Morgan. There's nowhere else she'd go. Evelyn must have missed her somehow. Wait a minute. I go to one of the windows, using my sleeve to brush away the fog that veils the glass. It's already a blizzard out there, snowing harder than anything I've ever witnessed. That's when I see her. A flash of red hair over by the tree line. Tara. She's just standing there? If she notices me, she waves. What the hell is wrong with her? I pound the glass, pointing downwards to indicate that she should come in.
Come inside, you moron! What are you doing?
I know she can't hear me, but she keeps waving. Then she turns and walks into the forest. What the hell? She's lost it. She's absolutely lost it. I fight against the wind just to open the door.
Tara!
My voice is swallowed up by the wind. There's no way she could have heard me. I try yelling again, but the cold stings my throat. Is this some idea of a joke to her? It's a terrible one if so. Stepping out the front door, I can barely see her amongst the trees and swirling snow. She's just standing there waiting for me. I linger, not sure what to do. I can't just leave her there, but going out in this would be asinine. She waves again, more urgently. She clearly wants me to follow her. Maybe she needs my help. Maybe someone's been injured. Still, the storm. Every second I'm out here, the cold seeps a little bit further into me. I need to decide. I clench my fists. If nothing else, I know that Tara would come for me. Bracing myself, I start walking towards her. It's nearly impossible. Just keeping my balance and remaining upright is a chore. Every step feels like a battle against nature. Slowly, though, I do it. Once she sees I'm following her, she starts walking again. I wish she'd wait for me to catch up, so she could at least tell me what's going on. When I cross the tree line, the wind gets noticeably better. Although the cold is no less bitter. Tara doesn't seem phased. She's still forging ahead, always in the distance no matter how fast I go. Closer to see, but not close enough to hear. Oh, stay hydrated, homies. After a few more minutes, I finally start to inch closer to her. I can't feel my hands or my feet, and my teeth won't stop chattering. I need to stop her now. My mouth is shaking too much for me to form any sort of coherent phrases. If I wasn't already genuinely scared, I am now. Then without warning, Tara stops. She stands completely still, back towards me. I do my best to push forward, finally making my way to her.
Tara, we have to.
I give up on words, instead reach out towards her. My fingers are numb and heavy. Before I can touch her shoulder, though, she turns around. And my blood runs as icy as my skin. Her face is completely smooth and featureless, like a mannequin. Her clothes, her hair, everything else are perfect replica. But her face is an empty void. This isn't Tara. This isn't even human. The sharp taste of bile rises in my throat as I stumble back, repulsed. As I stare in horror, she begins to flicker like a light bulb going out.
No. No.
This isn't real. This can't be real. This isn't happening. This can't be happening. Still flickering, the thing begins to move. Its shoulders start to shake as it rocks back and forth, tilting its head back slightly. It does make a sound, but its intention is clear. It's laughing at me. I fall backwards, hands scrambling through the snow that I can no longer feel. I scale away from it as best as I can, though it doesn't even try to follow me. It just rocks, celebrating its triumph over me. My shoulder smashes into something hard, sending a stinging pain through me. It's a tree. I try to stand up, but I've lost all sensation in my legs. My fingers scrabble desperately, uselessly at the hard earth and slick bark, but I can't find any purchase. I try to stand, and my feet slide from beneath me as I crash back to the ground. Each effort is harder than the last. I try several more times to stand, but I can't. Exhausted, I lay there, cheek pressed against the frigid ground. I can't even feel it. My face burns as it's buffeted with more and more snow. My thoughts run ragged. I know how hypothermia works, how fast it can set in. Surprisingly quickly, I'd once read. My body temperature only needs to drop a couple degrees to start shutting down. I can't muster the effort to move. The fake Tara is gone now. The space occupied is empty. I'm alone. The realization crossed my mind, surprisingly lucid. I'm going to die. This is the end. There is no after this. I've reached the end of my life. Snow accumulates in my body, but parts I can feel burn. I'm grateful for those that I can't. My breath is barely even a wisp of vapor. I try to tell myself that I'm wrong. Someone will find me. I can't die out here. I'm not some mountain adventurer. I'm not the kind of person this happens to. I can't freeze to death. I can't. But I'm going to. What about Tara? And BT and my family? I can't just leave them all behind because I ran too far into the woods. That's just not how this works. I try to push myself back up, but I can't move my arms. I can't move anything. I'm sure if my body allowed me, I'd be crying. I don't want to die. I don't want to die. I don't want to die. My consciousness fades. A piercing light that should be unpleasant but isn't shines in front of me. I will my body to reach for it, but I can't. Then I understand. It isn't meant for my hands to touch. I let go of it all, giving myself up. But then, a sound. Imperceptibly loud, deafeningly quiet. Something vibrant, full of life, fills my tired eyes. It blocks the light, and then... Ghost wife. Abigail appears, a look of shock on her face as she reaches out a hand to Maddie. An angel appears. Chapter 3? Just like that? Wow. I'm not cold. I'm not warm either. I'm not anything. I'm not even sure I'm awake. I can see his vast, profound blackness. I realize my eyes are shut. Are they frozen shut? I try to move my arms toward my face, but those feel frozen too. With great effort, I manage to wrench my eyes open. I'm flat on my back. Right above me is a familiar curved wooden ceiling. The gray smudges in my peripheral vision are the pews where I sat and read with Abigail just days ago. I'm in the church. I try to remember how I got here, but all I have are glimpses of what happened. Waking up alone, the mayor dropping by unannounced, following Tara, not Tara. Even nearly immobile, a shiver creeps up my spine at the thought of that thing. And after that, it comes back to me as an avalanche, running, stumbling, and falling, and being so cold. I can even recall the dread as it happened, as I gave up, when strength of my body and my eyelids couldn't bear being open any longer. But how did I get from there to here? There's a sound of rustling cloth from beside me. I forced my head to turn to look. And there she is, warm, radiant, just an arm's length away. Abigail. I blink expecting her to vanish, to be a figment of my imagination. But when my aching eyes open once more, she's still there. Worry wrinkles her face. She saved me, didn't she? There's no other explanation. I muster the strength to smile up at her. She smiles back, though it doesn't reach her eyes.
Hello, Madison. I'm glad you're awake.
Pardon? In the otherwise silent church, her voice rings out like a bell. The first words I've ever heard her say. I can hear her. We can speak to each other. Understanding pierces through my exhaustion. With that understanding comes a whole cascade of realizations. A million feelings rush through me, and I don't know what order to process them. Two concepts stand out among everything else. Her voice is lovely, soft and gentle like she is. I must be dead.
Abigail?
I mumble out the only coherent thought that I have. She slides from the bench she was sitting in to the ground, kneeling on the floor beside me.
That's right. I'm here.
She leans over me, the serene portrait of a heaven-sent angel. She's here. That can only mean one thing. My head doesn't hurt. My back isn't sore despite spending lying on the cold stone floor for hours. I can hear and speak with Abigail.
I died, didn't I? And you saved me and brought me back here?
She rubs her face, a pained look on that she can't brush away.
You're not quite dead, but you're not alive either. Rather, you're somewhere between life and death. Like me. That's the best way I can put it.
I can tell that her tone is supposed to be optimistic, but to me, she seems entirely too cheerful for someone narrating my own demise. Still, I suppose this is better than the alternative.
Then, thank you.
Her smile gets just a little bit smaller.
Please don't mention it. Really, I'm sorry that we hadn't been just a little bit faster. If we had arrived sooner.
She looks away, guilt-twisting her face.
It's okay. It's not your fault.
In my out state, I know that much. I shut my eyes, hoping that this might be a dream, and that when I open them, I'll be safe and sound in my bed at the cabin. I'm not, of course. There's nothing above me but stone. I force myself to sit up. The motion catches her attention, and Abigail lunges forward, ready to catch me if I fall.
Oh, don't strain yourself.
But there's still no pain or soreness. Instead, it's like each individual part was switched off and I have to reactivate them. Maybe that's not far from the truth. Once I've sat up, I'm able to stand without any issue. The heaviness falls away like a blanket.
I think I'm okay.
To demonstrate, I pace back and forth a couple steps, feeling like I'm just stretching my legs. I reach out and flex my fingers, staring at their strange, glimmering transparencies. The whole time, she watches intently, poised to intervene if anything goes wrong. Nothing does. I'm fine, relatively speaking. I look towards Abigail for approval with the most earnest smile I can muster. She visibly relaxes. I then sit down on one of the pews. Abigail sits down beside me. It's bizarre. Despite years of existential dread, I don't know how to feel about my own past tense death. Well, Abigail did say that's not quite death, it's just not exactly life either. Obviously, it's got to be a bit more complicated than that, but right now it's helping to soften the blow a little bit. I look down at my hands. They're normal and clean, not bloating and turning purple like in the last few moments. The rest of me seems similarly plain. Apparently I was well preserved. There's one difference I wonder about, though. I press my finger to the stone that we're sitting on. Or at least I try to. But my hand just passes through. It doesn't feel like anything. Right. Next to me, Abigail does the same thing, pressing her hand in up to her wrist. She giggles and my heart skips a beat.
I'd forgotten how it feels at first. It's kind of wondrous.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it.
Once you get used to it, it's really quite convenient. It'll just take a bit of time.
Abigail stands and gives me a huge smile, probably not realizing just how scary that thought is to me. I don't really want to spend however long it takes to get used to it like this. But she's clearly excited to talk. I am too, regardless of the circumstances. So I won't spoil the moment. Yet.
How long has it been since then? Since
Even thinking of the word died caused my throat to constrict with terror. It's not death, I remind myself. I can feel afraid. If I can feel afraid, then it can't be death.
It's been over a day. You've been unconscious this entire time. I was afraid that perhaps I'd done it wrong, that you might not ever wake up.
But here I am.
I can see her eyes sparkle with tears. Despite the fact that I'm standing right here, even the thought of my demise almost makes her cry.
Yes, here you are.
How did you do it? I remember thinking that I was going to die, for sure.
She looks away from me, fidgeting with her dress.
As I said, we arrived too late to save your life. The cold had already set in, and you were so far from home. But we were able to save your spirit, your soul, the important part of you. And that's what you are now.
A spirit?
She nods.
That's what you are too, right?
Another nod.
Exactly.
Her voice is gleeful. I can tell she's excited by this. I can't blame her. After 200 years of solitude, I'm sure that I would be too. But for me, well, this is a nightmare wrapped in irony. I came to Eisenfeld as a skeptic, and now I'm this. It's so overwhelming. What will my parents say, or my friends back home? And what about everything else I left behind? I never prepared a will or anything like that. I don't know what to think, what to feel. I suppose I should be grateful that I'm not truly dead, but at the same time, I don't know what I'm missing out on. Maybe it would have been preferable. I wish I could have at least said goodbye, especially to Tara. There's so much left unsaid. Wait, Tara. With a jolt, I turn to face Abigail. She flinches at how suddenly I move.
Do you know if Tara's safe? My friend, the one who came here with me. I thought I was following her into the woods, but it was...
The image of that fake Tara comes to mind, and with it a wave of dread. The memory of it is repulsive simply in how false it was. How unnatural.
She's fine. As far as I know, she was never in any danger at all. I'm so sorry, Madison. You were tricked.
Right.
I relax a little bit. Tricked.
Tricked by... by whom?
Abigail looks uncomfortable once more.
I'm not sure what name she uses now. The mayor of the village. Whatever you know her as.
Evelyn.
So she's responsible. I'm not surprised in the least. The way she always seemed like a snake coiled and ready to pounce. The bad feeling I got every time I interacted with her. He must come by the cabin just to scout me out. She had probably been playing this all along. I shudder.
Who is she really? Why would she want to kill me?
I'll explain it later, but I promise you don't have to worry about her anymore.
Clearly that's supposed to make me feel better, but it doesn't. Yeah, she's not a threat anymore, but only because she succeeded. I want to understand. I need to understand. Why would she want me dead? I guess I'll find out in time.
I just have one other question. Earlier, when you were talking about saving me, you kept saying we. Who else?
Now her eyes regain that previous mischievous gleam that I've started to recognize on her.
Someone special. I'll take you to meet them if you feel you're ready for it.
I think so.
There's nothing to be accomplished by sitting around feeling sorry for myself right now. I spent enough of my time in Eisenfeld doing that as it is. Plus, I'm curious to see who might have helped Abigail. Who else could have known about her this whole time, yet kept her a secret? I stand up, absentmindedly offering a absentmindedly offer a hand to Abigail to help her up too. She takes it, then drops it immediately. Oh, right. Yeah, this is probably the first time she's had contact with another person for a while, huh? Eyes wide and awestruck, she stares as if I sprout a tentacle from my arm. Tears spring to her eyes, seeping out to form a thin river down her face.
What is it? What's wrong? Did I hurt you?
Your hand. I can feel it.
Yeah. She's right. It hadn't even registered as different to me. But for the first time since we've met, I can naturally touch and feel her there. She grabs my hand again, not standing. She closes her eyes as her fingers roam over mine, taking in the sensation. With anyone else, anyone on Earth, it'd be awkward. But somehow with Abigail, I don't mind. It's a little endearing, in fact. After a moment, she seems to realize what she's doing. With a yelp and a sheepish expression, she lets go.
I'm sorry, Madison. I just got so carried away for a moment.
It's fine. Really.
My skin still tingles with feeling, vivid because of the absence of anything else. Abigail also gets to her feet without my help. Together we face the doors of the church. They look like they've been untouched since I was last here with Morgan and Tara. I wonder how they're taking it. I wonder if they even know yet that I'm gone. It's quite possible Tara hasn't even come by the cabin. It could be days before she knows. I push those thoughts out of my head, though. It does make a difference at this point. I'm still alive and cognizant, and at least in some capacity. As long as that's true, then there's a hope that I maybe can get out of this situation. All I can do is hope and learn. Swallowing my fear as much as I can, I take the first step towards the door.
Should we go meet your friend then?
I'm only bet it's gonna be that giant monster, isn't it? It's calm outside. The day or so has passed, weather seems to have also mellowed out. A thick layer of fresh snow coats everything, looking fluffy and inviting. A few clouds darken the sky overhead, but are nothing compared to the maelstrom that I got caught in. The occasional flakes that fall seem serene, not threatening. Of course, they pass right through me. Abigail leads me into the woods. I try not to pay attention to how I can't hear my footsteps in the snow or how the cold doesn't bother me. It's convenient, sure, but it's wrong. The two of us walk side by side, deeper and deeper into the forest. This will be the furthest I've ever gone, since previously I'd never passed a church. Just like Morgan a few nights ago, Abigail seems to know exactly where she's going.
Abigail, can you tell me a bit about what it's like now? Being a ghost and all.
Abigail's face lights up and she claps her hands together. Her steps become an eager skip.
Of course. I'd be happy to.
She clearly means it.
Where to begin? I found it to be quite convenient personally. As I said before, we're not ghosts per se. Or at least, not in the conventional way. Which is to say, we're not dead. It's more like we're somewhere between life and death. You and I are now fundamentally bound to the forest and to everything else in it. In the forest, everything is connected.
She frowns deeply, puffing out her cheeks.
This is harder than I thought.
I laugh. I guess even after centuries, she never expected that she'd have to explain all of this to someone.
It's fine. Take your time.
Everything in the forest is connected. The trees, the grass, the birds, the foxes, everything. And that includes you and I, too.
Connected? How?
Abigail chews her lip as she tries to think of how to explain it. Her frown returns deeper than before. Finally, she just shrugs.
Magic.
That face she's making, like, yeah, you know what, sure. Magic.
That makes sense.
No, it doesn't. Pleased, Abigail nods. I still don't know what to think. I've only just woken up. I don't know how long it'll take for me to process everything and accept it, or if I ever will. Everything she says makes sense on a conscious level. I'm sure I could ace a test if someone were to ask me questions about it. But when I stop to think about how it affects me, about how these are now the restrictions and limitations that bind me, I stumble over nothing and clutch at my chest feeling sick. But it's an impotent gesture. It doesn't help me feel any better. How? How can I be dead? How did this happen to me of all people on Earth? This isn't fair. It isn't fair. I never wanted any of this. I never even wanted to be here. I can't keep my thoughts from spiraling. Every time I try to think about it, I'm just met with memories of dying and of fear. Fear for myself and for the future and what it might hold. Abigail rushes over my back as she croons in my ear.
Madison, it'll be all right. I promise. I know it's a lot to take in, but it'll be okay. I'm here for you. I'm here.
I'm here. She repeats those words over and over, stroking my back until the moment passes. Dizziness fades in waves, and I slowly stand back up. In all, my little episode must have lasted seconds at most, but it felt so long.
Madison, are you okay?
Yeah, I'm fine now. Or at least better. Thanks.
Her hand doesn't leave my back.
Are you sure? We don't have to keep going right now. We could save this for another day.
I brush away the notion.
It's fine. Let's just keep going. If I just sit and do nothing, I'm sure I'd feel even worse.
If you're sure...
We resume our trek. The silence drags on for a while. Abigail shoots me a glance every now and then, as if I'll disappear if she looks away for too long. In a morbid way, it's kind of funny. I looked at her the same way not too long ago, but she was bright and radiant, and I'm dead, I guess. It brings a question to the forefront of my mind.
Earlier,
Abigail stops. I try to avoid eye contact.
you said something earlier about Tara. How it wouldn't be possible for Tara to even see me.
Correct.
She speaks with measured words. Despite how excited she's been, she's visibly holding herself back. Like any wrong word will set me off again. It's not too far from the truth.
But I was able to see you, even before all of this happened. So why couldn't she see me?
Abigail lights up again, a look of pride beaming across her face.
That was projection. I've had a lot of practice. I'd be happy to teach it to you too, but it took me some time to learn.
I see.
Decades. Abigail laughs nervously, trying to hide her slip. We lapse into an uneasy silence again. I take deep breaths, trying to distract myself from the hundreds of questions weighing on my mind. but my breasts feel empty. The lack of cold wind glaringly absent if I could focus on it. So I focus on Abigail. She leads the way confidently. A passive smile rests on her face, and she looks more at ease now than I've ever seen anyone be. Every step she takes seems to push us forward, farther than any natural pace. The words she said earlier replay in my head about how the forest will help take us to our destination. We pass through a tree, but when I look back, it's meters away, if not out of sight completely. Magic. Being able to simply pass through any obstacles we encounter makes walks much faster. Even so, I automatically step over debris or turn my shoulder completely to avoid scraping the trunk of a tree when I can. I feel the heaviness in my chest start to fade as we trek on. Abigail catches my glance and smiles warmly. I smile back, genuinely now.
Did you spend much time in the forest when you were alive?
I did. However, I never traveled very far. Why do you ask?
I was just thinking about how you know your way around so well. It kind of reminds me of the girl I met here in the village, Morgan.
I've had plenty of time to see it all. It's simple too, once you know how to do it. As long as you know where you're going, the forest will guide your way there. I'm certain you'll get the hang of it someday.
I forced an agreeable smile. In spite of everything, talking feels good. Talking about anything. So I try to keep the conversation going.
What was Eisenfeld like back then?
Much the same as it is today, as far as I can tell. Quiet and isolated. We rarely had any visitors. Even news of the outside world, or the rest of the country, was slow to arrive. But I longed for it. For the stories that would occasionally make their way to us. Sometimes friends of my father would head into the city for a few weeks, taking the goods that we had grown and made to trade, and bringing back things we lacked. And they'd return with gifts for all of the children, my sister and I, or the little boy across the road. Gifts and stories about wondrous devices they'd seen, or about the marvelous people they'd met.
Her steps slow and then come to a stop, and her eyes take on a far-off, dreamy look.
When I was alive, I always wished to see it for myself someday. Instead, I had to satisfy myself with books and with other people's stories.
Her voice trails off, ending with a hum of satisfaction, remembering something but not speaking it. I wait quietly. It doesn't feel like the kind of moment that I should interrupt. Soon enough, she looks over at me with what I've come to think of as her typical smile.
I'm sorry. I hadn't really thought about these things in a while.
It's okay. I hope they're not painful memories.
She shakes her head.
These ones aren't. What about you? There are so many things that I want to know, but I hardly know where to begin asking.
Abigail points up to the sky, devoid of any clouds right now. Emotional trauma? We're still processing it. I'm still mad at Tara, kinda.
Machines soar overhead day and night, but I've never known what they are. Or watching as Eisenfeld becomes more modern, but not understanding. I want to understand!
She looks at me expectantly, like I could quickly rattle off all the major inventions since her time and how they've changed our lives. From the way the corners of her eyes glimmer with tears, it's clear just how badly she wants to know. It must be horribly frustrating. She mentioned machines overhead. She must mean airplanes and satellites. How unbelievable would it sound to her that enormous metal craft can fly through the sky and carry hundreds of people? Or about cars, or how just about everyone owns one. I need another 200 years and then some to catch up on what she has missed. And thinking about that for just a second, I feel like maybe I understand her loneliness a little bit better. Abigail quickly straightens up, maybe realizing that she was being kind of childish. She adjusts her impeccable collar and dodges my eyes.
I'm sorry. Again. That can wait.
You're fine. I'm sure I'd feel the same way in your position. After we meet your friend, I'll tell you everything you want to know. Or at least everything I can. I'm not exactly the best storyteller, and I'm not very good at explaining why things work, but if that's still enough?
I phrase it like a question, even though I already know what her answer will be. Sure enough, she springs toward me, skipping past like a stone.
Oh, would you? I'm sure you're wonderful at telling stories. I could tell from the way you read to me back at the church. Do you remember?
Like I could forget. That's a day I'll remember for the rest of my life.
Is it? Why's that?
She crowds up close to me now. To be honest, she reminds me a bit of a film camera, zooming in and out, then leaping past to focus on something else.
Well, that was the first day that we spent time together, right? And that's when you showed me your name.
Abigail goes very still. Several times, she looks like she's on the verge of saying something, her mouth fluttering or her half gesturing something. But each time she stops.
I suppose it was. I just didn't realize it was that significant to you.
Of course it was. That day changed everything for me.
I bite my tongue from saying more. Things didn't exactly change for the better. Deeper and deeper we go, and the forest gradually grows quieter. The rustling of the creatures underfoot get less and less frequent, and then stop entirely. The birds chatter less, and then not at all. Even the wind settles down. Abigail is the only one who doesn't act any differently. She still hums to herself or glances over her shoulder to make sure I'm still there. Like I have anywhere else to go. As we get further into the woods, the snow is thinner and some places are totally without it. There are even a few patches of green, something that I'm pretty sure shouldn't be possible given the weather. The trees, which have been growing claustrophobically close together, start to spread out a bit more. I gasp when I see what's ahead of us. A grove of immense trees, larger than any I've ever seen before, lies before us. Like the redwoods back in America, they're so huge as to seem to hold up the sky. Only bereft of snow, a few defiant branches hold leaves. They cast shadows over Abigail and I and everything around us. An aura of life pervades the area. My skin prickles. The sensation is vivid, right in my arms like a spark. More than the church, where we are now feels like a holy place, something sacred and primal. As we pass by, I have the distinct feeling that I'm being watched from all sides. The back of my neck is slick with sweat, and I brush my forehead as pressure of being observed starts to hit me harder.
What is this place?
I don't mean to, but my voices come out as a whisper.
We're at the center of the forest now. These trees are the oldest ones here. They're the ancestors of all the rest. All of the life in the forest comes from here.
I believe it. There's a quiet vibrance to this place. I walk a little bit slower, feeling as if I don't want to cause a disturbance. I trail behind Abigail, who seems totally indifferent to the atmosphere. It makes sense. She's probably used to it, and this place's luster has worn off for her. I can't help but gape. Without the snow that I've gotten so used to elsewhere, this feels like a wholly different place. Another world altogether. Abigail leads me around one of the massive trees, and my jaw drops even further. There, crouched in a small clearing, I knew it, is the forest spear from the other night. The same one that stood in the storm and scared the hell out of Tara and me. Somehow it's much smaller than it was then, though still several feet taller than me. Yet one look into its piercing red eyes, and I know it's the same. It had been looking away, but turns to face us. Its body creaks and crackles as it moves like an old door rattling in the wind. My breath catches in my throat as I fight down the instinctive rising terror. Pox and scars decorate the bark that forms its skin. Though it has a vaguely human form, its body is clearly wooden. Little trees wind together, interlocking to shape its body. Okay, that bird nest is kind of cute, though. It regards me with a kind of indifferent stare, similar to when we witnessed it at the church. The impossibly red glow of its eyes is subtle now, and the previously winding and dying trees look more like its body is merely hugging itself. I looked at Abigail to see her reaction,
But she just watches the two of us with a slight smile, waiting to see what happens. That's when it hits me.
This is your friend?
That's right.
She acts as plainly as if she just introduced me to a fellow human, not a mystical creature. Abigail leaves my side to go to the spirits, and she nuzzles her head against its side like a cat.
This spirit is the guardian of the forest. It helped me save you, just like it saved me long ago.
It shifts slightly to accommodate her, standing a little bit taller. It makes no vocalization. I can talk, I promise. It makes no vocalizations, though. Nothing close to speech.
I see.
I don't, really. Visions of its tall, imposing profile against the stormy sky really clash with what's in front of me now. But still, I know she's telling me the truth. I take a fraction of a step forward, expecting it to bare its teeth or warn me off somehow. It doesn't react, though.
Does it have a name?
If it does, I don't know it. I just think of it as the forest spirit.
I think back to how Morgan had first described it, as if the forest itself had come alive. I don't think she knew just how right she was. Its namelessness makes it feel even more wild and untamed. I can feel myself being regarded and judged by it, and I'm tempted to turn tail and run. I force myself to look up and to meet its gaze. When it stands still, it's unnervingly silent. It reminds me of a grotesque scarecrow in a sense. From my peripheral vision, I can see Abigail up between the spirit and I, probably wondering if she should say something more. Or, knowing her, wondering what to say. I preempt her.
I've come to say thank you for intervening and for saving me. Abigail told me that you helped. I don't really know how I can ever repay you. I owe you my life. Or, well, whatever's left of it.
I'm not sure why I could even offer a supernatural tree spirit to begin with. Its eyes watch me impassive. I swallow the lump in my throat and keep talking.
I don't know what happens now either. I'm still getting used to all of this. But again, thank you.
Then, not knowing what else to do, I bow stiffly and step backwards. Still, it doesn't react. The whole thing is awkward and uncomfortable, but as with everything else, I'm at a loss. I can have a conversation with the thing, and the details of what exactly it did are sparse. It feels like a waste to have come all this way for just a few sentences, but I'm not sure it even understood those. It occurs to me that I have no idea how much the forest spirit knows, or even cares about the affairs of humans. I guess it must care at least a little since I'm here. The spirit turns its head to face Abigail, who smiles and pats its side. She says something to it, but I'm too far away to hear what. Then, as wordless as ever, the spirit rises and lumbers off into the forest without a second acknowledgement. Abigail watches it go, and then she turns and faces me with a bright smile.
So what did you think?
She has all the pride of a child with a new toy. I stare after the spirit, still barely visible between the trees.
I don't really know what I think. I'm part grateful, part terrified, part shocked. When I saw it before, I thought it had to be a monster or something. It just seemed so ferocious and huge that I assumed it was evil. So seeing it like that is weird.
It's certainly intimidating at first. When we first met, I was also rather fearful, but I quickly realized how kind and gentle it was. At least towards me.
I'm still breathing with curiosity over Abigail's own history, but she's made it clear that she doesn't want to tell me yet, so I won't pester her about it.
Why wasn't it enormous this time?
It can make itself larger or smaller at will. The night that you saw it, it must have had a reason.
And you're able to talk to it? And understand it?
Not quite. I speak to it and it understands me, but it doesn't have any words or language. Some of its mannerisms I've picked up over time. We've had quite a long time to get to know each other after all.
Couple 100 years will do that.
Right.
Abigail walks over and links her arm around mine. I startle at the touch, but more so how casual she is about it.
Ready to go back to the church? Unless you'd rather stay here in the forest. I imagine you'd be more comfortable with walls and a roof around you for now, though.
Yeah, I would be. Let's go back.
Arm in arm, she leads the way back. Oh, no.
God damn it.
I don't think I'm emotionally ready for this after all that, though. You know what? It's been 2 hours. That's a good place to call it, I think. That is as good a place to call it as any. And look at that, Chapter 3. Oh, hatred. That's ominous. But yeah, I think that's a good place to call it. You know what? Chapter 3 in the books. And honestly, I feel like I'm invested, but like I also know myself, and I know I will just keep going for hours and hours if I don't force myself to stop here. So that's going to be the plan tonight. I think that we're okay with stopping here for tonight. That being said, gonna check something really quick. Oh, yep. So I'm just gonna throw you guys over at Geist, though. They're currently, I think, just watching videos and chatting and working on stuff. So I'm just gonna throw you all over at Geist because I haven't gotten a chance to raid Geist yet, and I've been wanting to. But yeah. Other than that, though, I'm going to call it here. Go chill for the rest of the night, and I hope you all have a wonderful rest of your evening or day or happy time zone, everybody. But for now, that is going to be it for me, and I'll see you all probably tomorrow, because tomorrow is more Okami, and I am so excited for more Okami. But for now, goodbye. I really need to think of an ending for these things.